Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We're gonna start off our lesson by I want everyone to face the board here, and we're going to go over our standard and our objective. Our standard is, I want y'all to state the standard. Determine
The theme of a story, drama, or poem from details in the text. Summarize the text.
Very good. Now, our learning objective, let's go ahead and read that together.
The learner will use details from the text to identify the theme and complete the exit ticket assessment. What is the theme?
Very good. So as you gather from what our standard and our objective is, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about theme. And we're gonna have some activities. We're gonna start with a little bell ringer activity. I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes to do it. It's just a little fun, topic related, because our main story, when we introduce it, is gonna be about superheroes. So this is just something very short. Once I give it to you, you have about 5 minutes to complete it. And then, once you complete it, our time is up, just keep it at your desk, and then maybe later, if time allows, we will, share out some of, your, writings if y'all wish to. You don't have to if you don't want to. But this is just a little fun little activity. Be sure to write your name on your paper, because at the end of class, I will take it up. There you go. There you go. Okay, all right, and I'm gonna go ahead and set our timer for 5 minutes. So there's no wrong or right answers, it's just something fun, it's just a little fun writing task. And it's based on a theme, and just do something really fun with it. And whenever everyone is done, if you haven't heard the timer, then we'll stop when the timer goes off, but if you get finished before you hear the timer, just give me a thumbs up so I can kind of see where everybody's at. And also, while y'all are doing that, y'all can continue to work. Very good, Emery. I had, everybody remembers the pre-assessment we took yesterday, that one that was here. So the ones that got both answers right, this is group, from each group was gonna get a reward. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pass that out for those that got that right now. So y'all just continue working. Nutrition. He's out here. Keep it to the side. Once you finish, just have it right there to the side. So pick one baby. Pick one this big. teaching slate. Everybody else did really good work on it, but that you didn't quite get both of them. Most everybody got at least one right, which is great. So, but we'll just kind of, if we have time, we'll discuss more about the questions maybe that were missed and kind of review that a little bit and finalize this. But very good job on those that got both of them right. So, how is everybody on their task? Is everybody done, or are we still working? Still working? Okay, I'll give y'all a few more minutes. Actually, we have about 1 minute, 15 seconds, and then we'll move on. You can just, place it to the side whenever you're done. Very good. Got your name on it? Good job. All right. Everybody just go ahead and put your paper to the side, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next thing. Like I said, if we have time, we'll go ahead and we'll move on, or we'll share that out later on in the lesson. But what I wanted to kind of go, where I wanted to go to start off is I wanted to kind of just discuss briefly the idea of topic and theme. So if you think about what the topic of something is, did I not push the right?
You was doing DGA.
Oh, yeah, I did the wrong one. That's where I wanted to go. Thanks for the help, y'all. The word topic. So when we were talking about our lesson the other day, we discussed topic. So who remembers what topic is? The topic of something. Yes. Okay, well, okay, well, let's see what the definition that we have. That's exactly what it is, what the story is about. So, that's your topic. Now let's talk about what theme is, because if we reference our objective and our theme, that's the whole purpose of our lesson today, is to identify what the theme is. Okay, so who wants to take a guess about theme? Gabby. I think you're on the right track.
Central message what the author wants you to.
Wants you to know, right, exactly. It's the central idea of a story or a poem, and it's the message that the author wants to share with the readers. It's what they want to get, the point, basically the point that they want to get across to you. So, do we see kind of like the difference? This, our central idea, is our theme. and what the story is about is our topic. So, who can tell me maybe what the difference is between those two things? What's the biggest difference? What do you think, Emery?
It's not about how the story, because the topic is how about the story is, and the theme is a central story, a story or a theme.
Okay, Trail, what do you think?
The topic is what the story is about.
Okay.
But the theme is what the story wants you to know. So
Yeah.
for example, like the story can be about like somebody trying to find like something that they lost. But the theme could be that they're trying to teach you that you should keep up with things and be more responsible.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was a very good answer, because then basically, when you talk about the topic, you're talking about just, say our topic, we're reading a story about tigers. So what would our topic be? It's about tigers, right? Okay, so, but if I was reading a story about the treatment or possible extinction of a particularly type of tiger, our message would be more geared to that central point that they are trying to convey to us, right? Tree. Emery, and well, I didn't get an answer too. And so, yeah. All right, so everybody sees the difference in what the difference of those two terms mean and what they're referencing, and the whole purpose that we discussed that, so you can kind of see what our task is and what we're trying to focus in on this particular lesson, okay? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pull up, I have a PowerPoint presentation for y'all to see, so it kind of has a good representation and some more really good information about our topic. Okay.
Miss Two.
Oh, it's 2. Thank y'all for y'all's help. I appreciate it. This is
Samira, 207.
okay. All right. I might need a little, you know how to. Good. Thank y'all for the technological assistance. Okay, so obviously what our lesson is about determining the theme, and we're gonna compare the topics in the theme. We identified what the term means, and we discussed what both of those mean, and we compared the differences of them. Okay, so this is just, again, a brief refresher. Those are our objectives and our standards, okay? And these are some keywords that I kind of wanted y'all to be familiar with, and we'll kind of go back over those in just a minute. But this is something I wanted y'all to see. It's just, we're gonna listen to a brief video about the topic of theme, and I just thought it was a really interesting presentation. And fun too, so I think y'all will enjoy it. As soon as we get it to pull up. Appreciate y'all's patience.
The thing that's different about a virtual vacation home, you always have the whole
Okay.
Theme. The theme of a story is either the moral, message, or the lesson that the author wants you to learn from the story. The theme is usually unsaid by the author, but we can infer it or figure it out from the text. If that's the case, how can I find it? To find the theme of a story, I need to ask myself the following questions. What message is the author trying to send? What did the character learn? What were the consequences of those actions? And finally, how did the character grow and change? Answering these questions will help me figure out the theme of a story. Let's figure out the theme of this next quick story. On a beautiful sunny day, the Robinson family took a trip together to the beach. It was the perfect beach weather. Arthur was the first one to jump in the water. He swam for what seemed like hours. Arthur loves swimming. However, he was starting to get bored. Arthur decided he will pretend to be drowning and see what everyone will do. "Help, help!" Arthur cried. "I'm drowning!" The whole family ran to rescue Arthur, only to find him laughing. "Ha ha, I tricked you. I wasn't really drowning," said Arthur. "This is not funny, and definitely not something to joke about, Arthur," huffed Mr. Robinson. After they went back to their spots on the beach, they heard Arthur screaming again for help. They ran to him again and were very upset and disappointed with him for lying and tricking them. After a few minutes, a big wave came over Arthur and he was really drowning this time. He called for help a few times, but no one came. He thought to himself that they must think he's joking again. But he wasn't. He feels terrible for tricking his parents and lying to them that way. Luckily, Mr. Robinson had seen that big wave and was already on his way to save Arthur. Mr. Robinson and Arthur finally made it back to the shore. Arthur was feeling ashamed of what he had done earlier and apologized to both his parents. Now he knows to never lie again. Let's answer these questions to find out the theme of the story.
I'm gonna pause it just for a second. So based on what y'all have seen so far in that video, if you were to guess what you think the theme was, what would it be, Fabian?
To stop lying, because sometimes when you are really telling something true, they might don't believe you.
Right, that's a good one. Gabby, you got one?
Lying is that, saying, if you was drowning, that's not like a joke or something.
It's a serious thing, right? You don't want to say a lie and then something really happened to you and then nobody would believe what you had to say, right? So that seems like, does that go back to what we talked about the lesson, right?
If you lie to them and then come back after that, then they won't come back.
That's right. So they wouldn't believe that you were trustworthy, right? So let me pick someone that had a chance for lesson. What would you think? I think y'all are on the right track with that. What's your answer? Yeah, well, especially jokes about maybe about serious topics, right? Okay, all right, and I'm gonna give everybody else, oh, sorry, I get it. I'm gonna, give everybody else, maybe I don't want you to have one correlation. So, we'll pick it up in just a minute. That's what, a thing that I wanted y'all to remember about the theme, just kind of see if y'all were picking up how you were identifying those, excuse me, those key details within the story to help you identify your theme, right? And early on in the video, they talked about something else that we had done in a previous lesson, which was about, who remembers the lesson that we had last week about inferences? Y'all remember the one about inferences? Because what was the best way, like a shortened version of what inferences means, Drew?
To infer something.
But, yeah, and what did we say?
Assume something about it.
Infer, or to, if I was to not know, what would I do on a test, if I had a test, if I didn't know something, would
Yes. Yes.
guess. We call it an inference is it an educated guess. So that's what I wanted y'all to get from that portion, that I wanted to make sure y'all was kind of picking up on that. So let's go ahead and finish the rest of the video. Okay, we're gonna get back to it. We're gonna get our, there we go. Well, we gonna get it. Okay. Yes,
I know the character in him learned that lying wasn't good. The consequences of lying was that people won't trust or believe him anymore. He changed towards the end by understanding what he did wrong and apologizing for it. So then what message is the author trying to send? Or what lesson does he want us to learn? Keep in mind that the theme of a story cannot be one word. Instead, it must be a complete sentence. So the theme of the story could be something like, when you lie, you lose the trust of people. So remember, the theme of a story is a lesson or message the author wants you to learn. If you like watching this video and all my other videos, please subscribe and give it a
so, by watching that, I thought that was a very good example of a very good example of what taking a story or a text, it could be a poem, it could be a short story or some passage or narrative, and taking it and using the details and trying to pick up on those details that they give you within the story to say, oh, okay, I get this is the topic, this is what this is about. But, oh, based on these details and everything, these events and things that are happening in this text, then I'm able to identify, oh, this is the message, this is what they're trying to tell me, this is what they're trying to say. So, going back to some of our keywords that we were talking about a little bit earlier, we're talking about theme. Again, we see the definition up here. Another keyword I wanted y'all to pick up on was lessons. Like when we are in our definition for theme, they'll often bring up central idea or the message or a lesson that they're trying to teach you. So the actual definition of lessons is information taught in the course of an experience or a problem. And it can be positive or negative, right? We can have a positive or a negative experience or lesson that happens from a different experience. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, and again, in our standard, we were gonna summarize it. Who remembers what it means to summarize something? Somebody that hadn't really got to answer. Jace.
A brief statement of the main points of the story or report.
Okay, so is the summary gonna be really long and lengthy, or is it gonna be shorter?
Short.
It will be shorter. It'll be shorter because when we're summarizing something, aren't we taking it
And shorten
We're shortening it, yeah, we're taking it and we're shortening it. Like taking the main details and the main things, putting together and making a summary or summarizing it. And again, we talked about earlier what the topic is. And we'll get also here in just a minute, after we introduce our story, the main text that we're gonna do, if y'all remember from when we did our bell ringer, the superhero theme, I told you that this was kind of like going along with our theme, kind of in topic. We were gonna do a superhero, themed, text for our, example. So what I also wanted to kind of do to introduce that to y'all is I'm gonna go ahead and pass out your, text that we're gonna read. That way you have that. We're gonna kind of preview that and then kind of go over some terms that I want y'all to pay attention to, or key words that are gonna, you'll probably see within that text that are gonna be important. But don't, you can just put your name on it, but we're not gonna actually start reading it yet. I just want y'all to have that. And remember when we talked about yesterday about if we see something when we're reading, that if we come across maybe a word or a phrase or sentence that we think might be important to what the story's trying to tell us, or the theme of the story, or possibly related to the theme, we were gonna do what? How are we gonna like code or notate that in the story? We'd do what, like underline it or circle it, right? Something that would help you, something that would, did you already get one? Yeah, you already. Okay, very good. So, again, the title of our text is called Benny's Superpower. So before we get into that, there was a couple, terms that I wanted y'all to be able to pay attention to. One of them is the term genius. Who can tell me what they think the term genius means? Right, someone that is extremely smart, right, very good. Okay, that's exactly what I mean, somebody that's extremely smart. So that's a key word, that's something that's gonna pop up in our, that's gonna come up in our lesson, right? Okay, so the next one I want you to be familiar with is inspiration. Correlation, what do you think inspiration means?
ideas that help you think about something.
Absolutely, ideas. So if somebody says, that book gave me inspiration to write poetry, that means that was something that kind of prompted you, something that maybe got you excited and made you want to do that or go through that further, right? Very good. Appreciate y'all's participation and y'all paying attention. So our next one is frustrated. Terrell.
Like being upset or mad or being confused, so when you get confused, you get angry.
Okay, yeah, that's definite. Like simply, they just refer to it as being upset. So if I was upset about something, it could also lead to other things, right? Maybe if you get upset, there be the possibility that we maybe did choices or made other choices that maybe we might not have if. So that's why I wanted y'all to kind of be familiar with that. And the last one is characteristics. So characteristics, Mackenzie, what do you think characteristics is referring to? Yes, because you see what, you picked up on the what, that root word, that base word in the term. So it may be a what?
Trait.
That's right, a trait or a feature or quality belonging typically to a person, place, or thing that identifies it, right? So why do you think it's important to know about a characteristic of something when you're doing a story? What do you think, Trill?
Because if you like your characteristics, it would be important to know who the person is and how they would react to something. Because not everyone reacts to stuff the same, so you would know how they would feel.
Oh, I like that. That is an awesome explanation because you were if you know the different characteristics of somebody, then you might have a clue or hint to how they might react to a situation or a particular experience that would happen. And that also can kind of give you hints and details again with your theme, okay? So what we're gonna do is now kind of briefly previewing our text. We're gonna kind of pull this up here so y'all can see what we are gonna be working with. And so y'all should have your actual text, the meanings of superpower out, so we can kind of look at that a little bit. And then we'll get started on that one. There we go. Okay. So just to briefly kind of preview it to the text, it's titled Mini Superpower, right? But it doesn't necessarily, when we hear the term superpower, a lot of us might think of traditionally like Superman, Batman, Robin, those kind of superpowers. Other things or other characteristics or traits, there's that term, that people can have that can, that somebody might consider, oh, they're so smart, they're a genius, that is an amazing superpower. So does that make kind of sense, kind of what's kind of leading into this story? Yes, Fabian, did you have a question?
Like Batman.
Yeah, he's what we would consider a superhero, but saying somebody has a superpower can also mean something a little bit different, right? Okay, so right before we get started into this, I do want y'all to look at another paper that I have for y'all to kind of, it's gonna be a brief, fun little theme, task that we're gonna do, and this y'all can do with your partners, and I'm gonna give y'all about 5 minutes on this as well. And who does it? Oh, I'll do it for you. So go ahead and put your name at the top, and y'all gonna work with just your little table groups. After I give you your paper, I want y'all to be able to take about 5 minutes to complete it. It's just a theme-based. Now that we have had a little bit, we've had some discussion and introduction and some more information about theme, then this, I want to see how y'all can take that information and put it into this task. And like I said, I'll give you instructions on that in just a minute. So go ahead and put your name at the top and still keep your Benny superpower out. I just want y'all to have that because that'll be the next thing that we're gonna go. That's the main subject of our. So once you get it, put your name on it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put a timer on there for y'all. Let me grab another piece for y'all. Okay, and y'all just go ahead and work together. Go ahead and put your names on it. And once you're done, your groups are done, go ahead and do your little thumbs up and kind of let me know where you're at.
But I also had a baseball game. This was going to be that decision. If I do not go to the game, I will let my team down. Is it loyalty? Never give up. Friendship, brings honesty, courage, love, sacrifice, or teamwork. I think it's sacrifice because if we go to the party, she be sacrificing my team. If I don't go to the game, she be sacrificing my team. I think it was make a decision to sacrifice a thing. No way.
Couple more minutes. How's everybody doing okay?
She sobbed for hours trying to think of a way out of having to tell her father she wrecked her new car. After going over it for quite some time, she called her father on the cell phone. Thank you, she said. Honestly, because if she had lied to her father, if she didn't wreck his car, that would be honest. But she did, and he said, thank you. Yeah, I think that too. I don't know. Honestly. Because she was honest about rape.
Remember, y'all trying to together so y'all can work together to kind of give each other kind of input and what to think about. Oh, very good, Carlation. So remember, when we say the theme, what does the video say? Is the theme
Her dad's car.
one word, one or more, 2 words? The theme is in a sentence. Very good, Carlation.
Wait, what does?
About what she sold for signs by wrecking the car. She sold
We got about a minute, and then we'll just get to a stopping point when y'all are, and then we're gonna kind of talk about that task.
The phone rang and she dropped the phone and tears began to drop out of her cheeks. This quivered as she pictured the scene that would disrupt her. No, she will. This
I figured
It's hard to tell. I don't know this last one. The last one seemed confused. The phone rang. She dropped the phone and tears began to drop onto her cheeks. Her lip quivered as she pictured the scene that was disrupting her. No, she waited.
Y'all are doing a really good job working together. And everybody make sure you have your name on your papers too.
oh, I think I found it. That's crazy.
Okay, we're gonna kind of stop there, and I'm going to kind of just ask it. It's okay if you're not completely finished with it. I just want to kind of talk about it a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to use the cows. We're gonna look at the first one. It says, the example was, my best friend was having a party Friday night, but I also had a baseball game. This was going to be a tough decision if I do not go to the game. I will let my team down. So do you see we have a theme word bank that kind of was giving you some kind of hints, right? So for us to choose from. So let me pick a cow. Number 9. Who's number 9? Nobody? Okay, so let's try another one then. How about number 12? Okay, Terrell, what you got?
I got the thing at sacrifice, and I put, I know because she would have to make a decision to sacrifice her team or her friends.
That is amazing. I really like that answer. That she had to sacrifice, right? So what, Terrell, made you feel like she was making a sacrifice by that little passage that they've given us?
Because if she would have chose to go to a friend's party, then she would have sacrificed, and her team might have lost because they didn't have all players.
Very good. Good job, Terrell. Okay, and we're just gonna do one more, okay? All right, so, let me pick another cow. 10. Okay, what you got? For our second one, it says, she sobbed for hours trying to think of a way out of having to tell her father she wrecked her new car. After stewing over it quite some time, she called her father on his cell phone. Thank you, he said, for what? What do you think he told her thank you? For being, what's the theme? What's the theme? Because she was being what? Well, you kinda close. Well, for participating, go ahead and get you one. But that, you were kind of on the right track, but let me draw another cow. 18. Okay.
I just think because she didn't lie to him.
Uh-huh.
She told her father the truth, and he thanked her for telling the truth instead of lying.
That's awesome. Good job, Gabby. Get your treat. That's exactly right. You see how you took the details from what, that information that they gave you to tell you, kind of give you a clue, be able to clue into what that theme is. Y'all can just put, that's a really great job. Y'all did really great on that. So y'all see how it's kind of making sense? Yes, baby.
I got the last one.
Okay, well, we're gonna kind of maybe save that one for later. We're gonna go ahead and get to our story. But do y'all see how y'all were able to take that information and pick up on it? That's really good. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so everybody has their paper out, our mini superpower, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna kind of model a little bit, and I'm gonna read the first 5 paragraphs, and then after that, I'm gonna give y'all a little time to do some independent reading on your own. And after your reading, then we're gonna have another little small group task that I'm gonna pass out for you while you're reading. But I don't want you to start the task until what? Till after you have completely read, right? Because how can we tell what the theme of something is if we don't read it first, right? Okay, so I want y'all to first follow along with me as we're reading this one. I'm gonna read the first 5 paragraphs, and then I'll let y'all have some independent time to continue on. Okay? Benny crumbled the paper in front of him, launched it toward the trash basket, and missed. It was his third missed basket in a row, and the third time he'd messed up his drawing for fine arts night. At first, he'd been excited to try out his new markers, but now Benny felt frustrated. Remember that word? Using markers meant he couldn't erase his mistakes. There are no mistakes in art, his older sister Les told him. Easy for you to say, thought Benny. Her art was amazing. He flipped through the comic book she had made him, looking for inspiration. For Benny, it said, drawing is your superpower. None of the drawings in Benny's sketchbook were as super as Les's, though. He'd have to make something really cool if he was going to show it at the fine arts night. So you kind of see where we're going with this whole topic and theme idea in the story, right? So keep all of those points in mind and all those terms that we had discussed earlier, and I want y'all to go ahead independently on your own, read the remaining paragraphs here, and then the second page as well. And I'm gonna give you probably about 10 minutes, because I'm also gonna pass out a task that once you're done reading, I want y'all to be able to work together as a group. But I'm gonna go ahead and pass that out. It's gonna be something, a theme task that's a small group task, but it's based on this text that we just worked on. Does anybody have any questions? Is everybody good? Okay, so y'all go ahead, and I'm gonna give y'all some time. Y'all go ahead. Then if you get done before one of the other groups, just remember to keep your volume at a level that you're not distracting your neighbors. And be sure to put y'all's names on the Y'all are good? The other pencil? Did y'all want the story? Very good. I'll have about 4 minutes, okay? So everybody should be working with your partners now on your, task. Remember, you can do it as a partner group or your whole table group, it doesn't matter. Just work together, kind of give each other input on what y'all are thinking on the different questions.
He said that he made a lot of mistakes in his artwork.
Oh, and like he says, using markers, then he couldn't erase his mistakes. So he decided that he knew like there was someone he encountered.
with your group or your partner, whichever.
How to get a response was problem. Okay.
And then we'll talk about it a little bit.
He looks for inspiration. He looks for inspiration. He looks for inspiration from her sister's comics. He looks for inspiration. And his sisters. Comics.
And y'all can work together. Be sure to write your name on your papers.
Betty felt proud. He realized that one mistake you could make it on that yourself.
So Benny felt proud and realized that he couldn't make mistakes, but not Benny was proud and he realized that you could only make one mistake in your life, and that is not illegal. So, how does Benny is feel proud? He realized that you can only make one mistake in life.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and kind of talk about, let's go ahead and talk about. All right. So we'll just talk about, just kind of briefly on y'all's responses, and I'm gonna draw some cows too. So on the first one, it says, what is Benny like at the beginning of the story? So let's see, 24. Who's 24? Nobody? Okay. Nobody. All right. Number 6. Who is 6? Jason. Okay, Jason, what you got?
Like at the beginning of the story was, get to Mrs. Martin because he made a mistake. He was supposed to, and made doctors of the
Very good. Good job, Jason. That's a good answer. He was frustrated, going back to our terms, go ahead and give me some. Good job. He was frustrated because he didn't think what his art was what? Good enough, right? Okay. All right. Well, let's skip to the very last one. Well, what is Benny like at the end of the story? We're gonna go ahead and throw another cow. 11. Who's 11? Okay, go ahead for 11. So what was he like at the end of the story?
At the end of the story, Benny was
Did somebody remember?
I know Benny was at the end of the story. Benny accepted that his arts were good, and he decided to hang them up.
Very good. Good job, Croatia. Good job. Okay, Cash, I know you hadn't had a chance to answer. What do you want to add to that?
Benny had felt proud. He realized that you could only make one mistake and giving up.
That one, that was the last thing you said? That what, about
You
giving
can
up?
only make one mistake at art, and that is giving up.
Ah, and that would be what we call our, okay, and because it's
Topic.
starts with an L,
Learning. Lesson.
Lesson, that would be our lesson. Something great, good job. So that was I'm glad that y'all brought that point up because it was your lesson. And that goes back to some of my terms and what we were talking about. Very good. So what do y'all think the theme of the story is? I'm going to go ahead and draw one more cow for this one. 14. Who's 14?
Nobody.
Nobody? Okay.
Yep.
16. Who's 16? Is there anybody on 16? Azaria, what do you think the theme of the story is?
The name of the story, Vinny and his art show.
No.
And the art night.
He's what now? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The theme show is Vinny and his art night.
Okay. But remember when we talk about theme, they're saying the theme is the central message. What is what he learned or his lesson, right? So what did he learn or what was his lesson?
To be proud. To be proud.
Maybe of what?
His art.
Of his work, right? Maybe you think, and trust that maybe believe in himself. Would that be a good one? Okay. So, anybody else want to add something to it, Terrell?
Never give up.
Never give up. Never give up. That's a really good one. Very good. Okay. All right. So do y'all get how we're able to look up? Well, I'll give y'all an opportunity in just a minute to add something, but we're gonna move on to our next thing, okay? All right. So do y'all see how you can take your text, read it, get those details out, and kind of see what not only the topic is, but what the lesson or the theme is, what they're trying to tell you, right? Okay. So as far as everything that we've discussed so far about theme, does anybody have any kind of questions or anything that they think that you want to talk about or discuss a little bit before we do our final exit ticket assessment task? And that's gonna be something y'all are gonna do independently on your own. So if you think there might be any theme related questions you might have, this would be a good time to ask. Yes, Terrell.
So do every story that like something that the author wants you to learn.
Yeah, if somebody's writing a passage, a poem, a story, usually a passage is an excerpt from an excerpt or a small piece out of a writing. So anytime you have a poem, a drama, or a story,
Or poetry.
yeah, poem, yes, that's right. You would have some kind of a theme or some kind of a message that the author wants to tell you, right? Okay, so I want y'all to set all of your papers, including your passage, to the side of your desk and kind of just we're gonna turn those upside down and I'll come by and actually what I want y'all to do is put your bell ringer in one pile and all your other papers in another pile, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and pass out y'all's final assessment. So remember what I said, this one, your bell ringer, our superhero bell ringer, put it in one pile on your table and your other papers on another pile. And I'm gonna kind of pick those up. Okay. All right. And this is gonna be class?
Yes.
Okay, so on your assessment, it's a front and back task. So I want y'all to be sure that you do not forget the back side. This is what the front side looks like. It's called What is the Theme? So I'm gonna go over the directions briefly so y'all have some time, okay? And if we don't get to share out our bell ringer, then tomorrow we'll go ahead and go back to that and we'll put those to the side. Put your bell ringer, put the bell ringer in another. Oh, you already did, okay. All right, just keep those all in the pile to the side. Okay. All right, then we'll work on sharing that out tomorrow, but I want to briefly go over the instructions after I give this to everybody. So, these don't have and all the other stuff. Put your name on these papers that I'm giving you. And I'm going to come by and pick up the others while y'all have your remaining time to work on this. That goes in one pile and all the other ones, y'all put them in one pile. Cause I'm gonna pick all of those up in case, and then we have time to share them. Did you get one, Calvin? No, sorry. Ready, put your name on that, and I'm gonna go over the instructions real quick. Here you go. Just put one bottle. I think you are here for that. I'll give you one. There you go. Does everybody have the paper that says what is the theme? Did y'all get that? All right, so everybody has one of these papers, right? Okay, I'm gonna just briefly run over the directions. The directions are, you're gonna read those passages independently, carefully. And so when you, at the answer down here where it says, what is the theme of the passage, you're gonna write it in a what? The theme is written in a what? In a complete sentence. Very good. So you'll read your passage and write the theme in a sentence. And you have a front and a back. And then now on the back side, if y'all flip to the other side, it will say, there's also some other theme related questions. It says, what is the theme of the passage? They want you to answer the following questions to the best of your ability. So go remember back to what theme is and define it and tell them what the theme is about this passage. So all the questions under the passage are related to that passage above it, right? Does that make sense to everybody? So this question is related to this passage. This question is related to this. On the back, you will have a few other questions besides the individual one like on the previous passages, but those are gonna be related to that passage, okay? Does anybody have any questions? Yes? No, this is independent. This is it's independent. This is your assessment to see what y'all learn, okay? All right, so I'm gonna give y'all about 10 minutes and y'all go ahead and get started, okay? off, so, very good. I'll just get to a stopping point, and then we're gonna probably revisit this, or maybe a little bit more at the beginning of class tomorrow. But y'all did a really good job with some of the things, though. I want y'all so I want y'all to kind of look at the board and kind of see a couple of pieces of information that I want you to be sure that you remember when we are talking about theme. You look for details in the text that hint at your theme, right? Theme and topic are not the same thing, right? Remember what we talked about. And a point that we talked about in a previous lesson about point of view, we need to kind of sometimes, knowing the point of view sometimes is helpful in discussing the theme, because we remember what the point of view is, what point of view is the narrator, what point of view is the story being told by, right? It's either
First
person or third person, and ours was what, in Benny's, it was what?
First.
What, and because what, what did it get you?
Use the word
Right, so you could tell it was coming from that, and then when you state your theme, you always using your sentence prompt or a complete sentence, right? Very good. Okay, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all's attention today. Y'all did a really good job, and, we'll let Carlisha do. Carlisha, will you finish picking these up for me? And hope y'all have a good rest of your day.